I was originally going to start this video off by saying, show of hands, how many of you actually remember The Covenant? And for the record, no, I'm not talking about the Norwegian black metal band that eventually transitioned into a darker, Rammstein-esque sort of band. I'm talking about The Covenant. Then I remembered, A, that would be impossible because, you know, it's a pre-recorded video. I'm not doing this live stream style, so there'd be no way for me to actually see you raising your hands the moment I ask this question unless you decided to leave a comment in the box. Which, by the way, when you're done with this video, you should really consider doing, just saying. And B, you don't remember this movie. I guarantee you don't remember this movie. I know you think you do, but you don't. Honestly, I don't even know why I remember this movie. I remember seeing this movie when it was in theaters back in the day, when it was actually brand new. And this movie was a monumental letdown for me personally, because I remember seeing the trailer and thinking, dude, that looks so cool. Then I actually saw the movie, and it was actually kind of, not cool. Like, not even a little. The movie is about witches, which is basically the word we use to label these kids who have the uncanny ability to wield the infinite power of bullshit. But then there's a kid from a fifth family of witches that everybody thought was long extinct, and unfortunately he did not have the best mentor when it came to learning how to use his powers, and so now he's abusing the power and going on a rampage, demanding that other witches give him their power, which I guess is something you can do in this universe. Fight scenes ensue, special effects galore. Now I know I'm hyping this movie up to be something like Mystery Science Theater worthy or just absolute garbage, but the truth is, this movie actually isn't terrible. It's not even bad, honestly. If I could summarize this entire movie in one word, it would probably be boring. I don't know why I would classify it as boring back then, because I was pretty much within that age range, and I probably related to the characters more, or I should have anyway. But here and now, watching it in the present day of 2020, it's pretty obvious that I don't relate to anybody in this movie, because the entire movie is focused on college kids, and, well, I don't know, just not a demographic I relate to anymore. The movie is also definitely a product of its time, both in the sense that it's a special effects fest that very much resembles The Matrix in some ways, and The Matrix was a really popular franchise back then, but also because this movie came out when smartphones really weren't as commonplace as they are nowadays. Like, you had the iPhone 1 at absolute best, and that was about it. Everybody else had like those brick phones or those flip phones, and I really love the flip phone, but it's just interesting to see people actually talking on a cell phone as opposed to just texting. It seems like a lost art, and I admit right now that I'm guilty of it, but it just takes me back to a time when people actually talked to each other and we made jokes about how stupid text messaging was, whereas nowadays everybody does it, and I myself even wonder how we live without it, but that's a whole tangent for a different day. Also, one thing I noticed is it always seems to be raining whenever there's an action scene in this movie, and I don't know if that's the result of the bad guy using his power because he causes rainstorms and when he uses his powers, or if that's like a really less than subtle way of saying, this is gonna be an awesome fight scene, the bad guy is on screen, ooh, look at the thunder and lightning, ooh. I tried to come up with some clever and witty things to say about the movie, you know, maybe some interesting trivia, but honestly, by the time I was done watching this movie, I started to remember why I found this movie so goddamn boring the first time I watched it, and I would honestly not recommend this movie to anyone at all. 1 hat out of 4. And that's going to do it for this week's review. Be sure to come back and see what I have for you next week. In the meantime, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell to show that you're interested. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you next time.